This is Joe Fasio, one of the executive directors of a company called Lifewave, and we are here to explore this little guy right here, this little Band-Aid. This is called X39, and I don't think it's a coincidence that David Schmidt called it X39. I think if you take a cross and you tilt it, you get the X. And then 2 Corinthians 11:24 talks about 40 lashes minus 1. So Jesus was struck with 40 lashes minus 1. That equals 39, obviously. Isaiah 53:5 says, by his stripes we are healed. So to me, there are no coincidences. I got involved about a year ago after saying no to this concept 3 separate times to my dear brother, Carl Firestone, who is on the line. And when probably 5 or 6 weeks over that period of time I continued to say no, somebody on his social media page posted about a spouse who had an autoimmune disease that affects the central nervous system. She experienced tremendous range of motion improvement, and that got my attention because my younger sister Jennifer, who's in Cary, North Carolina, has the same autoimmune disease. I quickly called Carl. We got some patches out to Jennifer. She is doing so much better. She's not healed. She's not cured. And I do want to make the disclaimer that this patch does not diagnose, mitigate, cure any disease whatsoever. What it does is it puts your body in a state of homeostasis, the way God designed our bodies to heal themselves. So this is the website. This is it info. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, but for new folks, for first-time lookers, you want to send them to thisisinfo.com and encourage them to watch the first 3 videos. They are short, but they are super powerful. This is a Notre Dame football players podcast / Zoom meeting every Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. I want to make something clear. This is not, Notre Dame is not endorsing this. It's just a bunch of former players who are having a lot of success wearing this technology. Currently, there are 40 former Notre Dame football players wearing this patch. I don't need to talk about the game, so we're just going to continue moving on with the slideshow. This is very impactful. The New England Journal of Medicine states that the #1 indicator of wellness is directly correlated with the number of stem cells in the bloodstream. To me, that is fascinating. The next logical question you might ask is, okay, how do you get more stem cells into the bloodstream? Well, Dr. Lauren Picard gives us a clue. This is on PubMed, and he is the father of research for the human peptide called GHK and GHK copper peptide. This is a human binding peptide with biological actions that appear to counter age-associated diseases and conditions. He gives us a clue on what it does. GHK has been recommended as a treatment for metastatic cancer, chronic obstructive lung disease, inflammation, acute lung injury, and activating stem cells, pain, and anxiety. I do want to stress anxiety because our son, who's in his late 20s, has PTSD, depression, and anxiety. He's been on this patch for about 4 or 5 months. His brain is calmer, his mood is better, so it is helping folks with anxiety as well. This is David Schmidt. He is the CEO and inventor of Lifewave, a 20-year-old company. This is not a fly-by-night. This is not a concept that we hope works. It is proven to work. He's been around for 20 years doing business, got his start with the U.S. Navy SEALs, developed this energy enhancer, if you can see the right side of the screen. That was a patch for the U.S. Navy SEALs on their underwater missions so that they would not have to take amphetamines, uppers, or caffeine. That patch is still in existence, and he still does sell it to the U.S. Navy. In 2008, he focused his attention on stem cell research, and took him about 10 years, about $4.5 million to bring X39 to market. What's really cool about the energy patch is there was a study. You can actually go on your favorite browser and look up the Troy State Lifewave study, and you'll see that they did a study with 25 of their football players, 225 bench press. See how many times you could lift that. They broke the guys up into 3 groups. One was a control group, which was there was no patch on those athletes. The second group was a placebo group, they put a fake patch on them. The guys did not know what was being put on their body. And then the third group, the test group, actually had the Lifewave Energy Enhancer patch on it. So interestingly, they did 225-pound bench press as many times as they possibly could until they failed. About 20% in the control group. That I find that interesting because they had no patch on them, but they knew they were being tested, so maybe they got a little bit of more energy in them. The placebo group that had the fake patch, they increased 30.8%, which to me is also extremely impressive because they had a fake patch on their body. But look what happened to the guys who had the Lifewave patch on them. A whopping 64% increase. We know a gentleman in this group, Rich Toman up in Jacksonville, was talking to this gentleman who was in this group, the test group. He was typically doing 25 or 26 repetitions of the bench press. When he put this patch on, he did 42 repetitions. To me, that is just incredible. So for fitness trainers, for people who are all about health and wellness, people that compete in athletic competitions, this energy enhancer could absolutely help you achieve your record best in whatever event you're participating in. Here's the patent, and I like to draw attention to the abstract when I show it to people. It's wearable phototherapy apparatus that produces activation of stem cells. We're allowed to say that because it says it in the U.S. patent. And whenever I'm approaching people, I have a copy of this on my phone or a hard copy that I hand to them and leave with them. Increases copper peptide GHK-Cu in the subject's body. This patent adds so much credibility to what we're doing because there are probably 6,000 other home-based direct sales businesses out there that you could participate in. This is the only one that's patented, so this gives me a lot of confidence that we're in this for the long term. We've got about 16 or 17 more years of patent protection on the X39 patch, so that speaks volumes. How it works. So X39 is a non-transdermal patch. I think everybody on here knows what non-transdermal means. There are no chemicals penetrating your skin. The thing I like best about this is it's just a simple daily lifestyle. No one's asking you to run a marathon, eat salad for every single meal. It's a very simple. Everybody can put this Band-Aid somewhere on their body. Your body emits heat in the form of infrared light. God created all of us to have a low-level infrared light in our body. And when applied to the recommended placement on the body, the patch traps that infrared light that's already in our body and reflects back into the tissue. A lot of people hear that and they say, well, do I need sunlight for this to work? And the answer is no. Interestingly, photobiomodulation, one of my favorite words, I'm going to talk about that a little bit deeper, but the analogy that we like to make about photobiomodulation is when my wife says, I'm going to go outside and get some vitamin D, meaning she's going to go outside, the sun is going to elevate a peptide in the body, and that's going to raise your body's vitamin D level. So that's pretty close to what we're talking about. But let's talk a little bit deeper about photobiomodulation because it's formerly known as low-level laser therapy. A lot of medical offices, chiropractors use this in their offices to improve, repair, reduce inflammation, reduce pain. It reduces oxidative stress. Now, if you don't know what oxidative stress is, it's a condition when the body has too many radicals, free radicals, and not enough antioxidants. The imbalance can lead to tissue damage and plays a leading role in a lot of big-time diseases that, many of our loved ones have right now. So if you can reduce oxidative stress, you can reduce acute inflammation and chronic inflammation, the main trigger for most diseases. Well, what we have on our hands, ladies and gentlemen, is a product, wearable photobiomodulation, that's going to help you reduce oxidative stress in the body. This signals the GHK copper peptides, which are proven to wake up your own dormant stem cells. By the time someone's 30, half their stem cells fall asleep. When they get to 60, and I just went over that threshold last year, 98, 99% of my stem cells have gone dormant. This patch also generates embryonic stem cells to go to areas of the body that need help. The word pluripotent just means the stem cells can become any cell in the body. So if your heart needs it, if your vision, your eyes need it, if your pancreas needs it, if your ankle needs it, pluripotent means it can become any cell in the body. Start feeling better without the use of harmful drugs or chemicals. I think you all would agree that physicians are very quick to write a prescription. You go in, they see you for a couple of minutes. Some of them say, well, you're just getting old. Others say, I'm going to write you a script. And then you go to Walgreens or CVS and go get your drugs, more chemicals to put into your body. You know what David Schmidt says? He's absolutely right. You should not have to take drugs forever in order to feel better. I love that phrase from him, and he's absolutely 100% correct. If you can start weaning yourself from all of those pharmaceutical prescriptions that you have going into your body, this X39 patch is absolutely the way to do that. So this is a diagram that comes with each one of the sleeves of patches. It shows you where to put the patch. I put mine right behind my neck where I can feel that first vertebrae jetting out a little bit. My wife puts it right below her belly button. Literally, you can put this patch anywhere on your body. It is systemic, and it will regenerate stem cells anywhere on your body. Most times, people can put it where they have pain. So if you have tendinitis in the elbow, if you've got a bad hip, if you've got a bad shoulder, you can, in fact, put the X39 patch right on the pain point. So long-term benefits, the first few days, 4,000 genes are going to begin to reset. That's kind of like rebooting your whole system. I love that all of my genes have been reset. Within the first 6 weeks, my brain became balanced. More clarity, lack of brain fog within the first 6 weeks. We've got a lot of folks who are wearing this who are in the neurodegeneration category. That would be Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and dementia. The brain fog is becoming better. The memory loss is diminishing. So it's really, really extraordinary. I know a lot of the ladies like this particular feature, that the collagen component in your body starts to elevate. And if you go to natural food stores or Target or Walmart or Costco, you'll see that there's a lot of external collagen being sold as a supplement that you ingest, but you don't know where that collagen is coming from. It's probably coming from an animal, probably a cow, but why not elevate your own collagen as opposed to using a foreign animal's collagen? Within 6 months, your heart reverses age. David Schmidt went to see his cardiologist after being on the patch for 6 months. The doctor told him, and he's 61 years old, that he has the heart of a 28-year-old. My friend Carl, who's on the phone, who's on the call right now, had hundreds and hundreds of spider veins in his feet from being on his legs and feet all day. After a few months of being on the patch, those spider veins totally went away. So if it's doing that to your spider veins, your varicose veins, think about what it's doing to your entire cardiovascular system. To me, that's super exciting. We like to show this topography map because, again, reducing inflammation. David did all sorts of tests. He did blood tests. He did urinalysis. He did topography map. This particular example shows a 77-year-old woman who went in, got measured, session 1, no X39. Look at all the orange and red. That denotes inflammation in the brain, lack of brain coherence. This is 3 weeks on X39. Look at the difference in the topography map of her brain. Improved brain coherence, and then 6 weeks later, it's all gone. She's doing so much better. Her brain remained calm after wearing the patch for 6 weeks. This goes back to what I opened up with, talking about my son. PTSD, anxiety, and depression. Big time improvement. This is Dr. Joseph Peck. He's one of the physicians on our team, and I actually heard him say this live and in person last year in Tampa, Florida. He said, I can say without a doubt this is the most significant medical breakthrough in my lifetime. The crowd just erupted with applause, because that's a very powerful statement for a physician who's been practicing for 40 years to say. He would had to have had 100% proof to be able to make that statement. This is another friend of ours on our team. He's an optometrist. He talks about how the eye has the most advanced metabolic rate in the body. He's got patients whose sight improved because these patches, the nutrients in the patch, reduce macular degeneration spots, clear up hemorrhages in the eye. He talks about one of the ancillary patches that we have called glutathione. And he literally said, glutathione gets the junk out of your eyes. I remember him saying that to my friend Rhonda, who's up in Alabama. There's a lot of folks who are struggling with vision issues. They believe that these doctors believe that this is the missing link. What I mean by that is you cannot inject stem cells into the eye lest you risk blindness. So people with double vision, people with bad night vision, it's kind of coming back. Thank God for that miracle of X39. This is another friend of ours, 80 years old. This is not photoshopped. This is 2 weeks on wearing the patch. His barber took this photo. This is 6 weeks later. I love the before and after because not only is the color darker, but he's got more hair growth coming in. And if you ask me, the quality of his skin looks so much smoother, lack of age spots. This to me is really, really telling. This is a friend of Ginger and Rich's. This gentleman is an Air Force surgeon for 45 years. He struggled with this skin condition for 13 years. No medicated creams, no antibiotics could heal that reoccurring sore. And after about a month to 45 days on the X39 patch, you can see the skin is starting to heal. So talk about wound healing. This is fantastic for accelerated wound healing. Here's another one, Jim Scythe's toe. We talked about this on an earlier call. This would kind of scab over, callus over, and then it would repeat the process year after year after year. The doctor threatened that he might have to amputate the toe. He thought there was a bone spur in there that he would have to operate on. Nothing was helping this particular situation until I gave Jim X39 patches back in April. And after 30 days, he went back in for his pre-op checkup, and the doctor said, I don't know what happened, but you certainly don't need surgery anymore. So another wonderful wound healing testimonial. I'd be remiss if I didn't tell you folks that there is a fantastic financial opportunity tied to this. I've got a business degree from the University of Notre Dame's business school, and I've owned my own businesses before. I can honestly say that I would put this business model up against anything else out there. I get calls from people wanting me to invest in a brick and mortar franchise opportunity, senior assisted living franchises. There's quite a few of them. The sandwiches, the pizzas, the hamburgers. When you own something like that, I'm going to skip to this next page. When you own something like that, and Carl will attest because he and his family have been in the Subway sandwich business for many, many years, there's high startup costs, there's high overhead, there's high royalty, high cost of goods sold. You've got to find employees that you can trust. You've got headaches with those employees, insurance fees, rent, utilities, you name it, maintenance, complex bookkeeping. But the beauty about Lifewave, it's a turnkey operation. It's on par with owning a franchise store, except Lifewave handles absolutely everything for a very, very modest entry fee. You cannot spend more than $1,600 to invest in your own Lifewave business. And with that, you get a lot of product. You get the manufacturing, the patents, the website, the marketing, the training. They ship it out for you. All you're doing is investing in patches. You're not investing in overhead. You're not investing in royalties. You're not investing in business concepts or any type of marketing. You're just investing in patches. That's the beauty of running a Lifewave business. The passive residual income with significant compounding is what excites me the most. I've been doing this for a little over 1 year. I've introduced this to 55 to 60 people, and now I check my back office, and there's probably about 1,200 people on my team. I don't know most of those people, but that's the power of the compounding interest for the passive residual income. So, again, it's all done for you. All you have to do is talk about the product. It's real simple. Whenever I'm in a business conversation, I'm traveling or personal, some friends, it probably will come up that somebody in their family is going through some sort of pain, chronic issue, and all I say is, I may have something for you. What do you know about stem cells? It's not a difficult conversation to have with somebody, and then I send them to the website. The website is what I opened up with. thisisit.info.com. Guys, I don't know of a better side gig, side hustle, whatever you want to call it. There's a lot of people that will kind of put up that defense mechanism when they learn that this is direct sales, this is multi-level. I will tell you, and I've studied this before, if people say it's a pyramid, you've got to shut that down because, number one, pyramids are illegal. This is not that. A pyramid, if you were to do your research, is when you send somebody money and you don't get product in return. You get the promise of a return or a business concept. But with Lifewave, I send in my $99 and I get a sleeve of patches in return. That is a wonderful business model. Yeah, it's FDA compliant. I know our CEO talks to the FDA and Food and Drug Administration and FTC every 2 years. And guys, we are onto something very big. We were listening to David Schmidt a couple nights ago talking about what's coming. This man is absolutely a brilliant scientist. What's coming is drone technology, recycled plastics technology. We're going to expand into a technology company more so than just a patch company. So at this point, it's only appropriate because of what's about to happen in the next 15 or 20 minutes that I reference. The Donald, he said if I lost everything and had to start again, I would find a great network marketing company and get to work. Guys, I put up the fence when I learned it was network marketing, but I'm so glad that I finally said yes. My family is doing so much better. I'm doing so much better. My sciatica went away in 3 weeks. My plantar fasciitis, my hip pain, my gums closed up around my teeth. And my hair, interestingly, is going from gray back to brown. So I'm not going to get into the compensation due to the time restraints for tonight, but there is a very lucrative compensation plan. Get with the person who invited you to this presentation. We'll show you how that works. You're going to have a left team and a right team. Those commissions peak at about $25,000 per week. Guys, probably the easiest business I have ever been involved in my lifetime. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and open it up for questions. I will go ahead and unmute everybody. If anybody wants to ask a question, feel free. Now is the time. When you stop wearing it, the traditional aging process kicks back in again. So I don't know that if I stopped wearing it, my sciatica probably wouldn't come back right away. But, maybe in a year or two, I might start having some back pains. That's a good point, Jim. It's not a cure, it's a lifestyle.
I like that. Thanks, Jim.
Guys, my wife had an allergy to gluten and wheat, and she was very adverse to wearing this patch. Well, she's on the patch for a couple of months. We go on a Greek Isle cruise on Royal Caribbean, and she sees the pastries and the donuts and the bagels, and she gets a little tempted, and she says to me, I think I'm going to cheat. And I was like, ooh, are you sure you want to do that? Because it could ruin the rest of our day. When Pamela eats wheat or gluten, without fail, she's in the bathroom 20 minutes later, and it's all coming up. So She ate a pastry on the Greek Isle cruise, and she did not get sick. She continued to eat bagels and dinner rolls on that same cruise. Some folks were saying maybe it was the European wheat. Well, we came home back to the States, and she's still eating wheat to this day, and it's not affecting her. So praise God. I don't know if she's healed of celiac, but it certainly looks that way.
The typical man issues of getting up 3 or 4 times a night to go to the bathroom. I learned just like a week or so ago about putting an Eon patch behind your right ear, which I think you talked about it maybe. And so I started doing that immediately that night. I only got up once during the night, and it's held true now for an entire week. And the great thing about it is I'm not waking Ginger up at 3 or 4 times a night as well. So we're both sleeping a whole lot better with the Eon patch behind my right ear.
Fantastic.
Oh, great. Love the short presentation and all the testimonies. Joe, you're doing a fantastic job building an incredible team of people, and you can build a massive business on these testimonies, you guys. It's freedom. That's what this is. This opportunity is freedom for the masses. And don't be afraid to share that side of it, guys, because people are struggling and hurting in our country right now and all over the world. So it's a huge blessing, huge blessing. So, hey, 50 years migraine-free now, X39. It took 7 months. I was losing hope in it, or I was losing faith that it was going to touch my migraines. I was getting better results with other issues, including the spider veins. But you guys, Kathy, my beautiful wife of 28 years, kept encouraging me, Carl, you got to stay on the patch for a month for every decade of age you are. And that's 6 months for me. And right about that 6th, 7th month, sure enough, they started to reduce in frequency and intensity. You guys are migraine free. It took a day out of my life every single week for 50 years. So the weeks are longer for me.
Wonderful. Thank you, Carl. You've been a wonderful mentor and coach and friend and brother in Christ, so I appreciate that. Guys, we're going to go ahead and close. I like to end by magnifying the Lord. Proverbs 3:27 says, "Do not withhold good from those to whom it is due, when it is in your power, in the power of your hand to do so." How appropriate is that? This X39 is in my hand. I have the power to do good. So I'm going to go out and do that tomorrow. Love you all, guys. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll do this again next Tuesday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. But don't forget, the best presentation of the week, Carl and Kathy Firestone, this Thursday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll see you on that call. Have a good evening. God bless.